So Janine, what's your favorite animal?
That's easy. That's elephants, definitely.
Of course it is. Great animals. So I was thinking, why don't we make a bit of a different video today? Talking about behavior of animals, what shots to look out for. Not too much going into technical detail, but just our experience from out in the field and what shots our fellow photo enthusiasts can get as well.
That's a great idea. A big part of wildlife photography is understanding what's happening in front of the lens.
True.
It's amazing. Let's do it.
Okay, great. Aren't we lucky to have the biggest population of African elephants right here in Botswana?
That's such a privilege. It's amazing. And what I personally love about elephants is how intelligent and emotional they are. Everybody has their own character and you can see it in their eyes, but that's also the challenge, trying to capture these stories and these emotions in one single photograph.
I agree, they're so intelligent. No wonder their brain alone weighs 5 kilograms. Can you imagine? I do agree that behavior plays a huge role in capturing that unique photograph. My favorite, of course, here in Chobe is when they play in the water, because you can really see how happy and relaxed they are. Throwing their trunks up in the air, pushing one another back and forth, and even climbing on top of each other. So much joy.
And from a photographic perspective, they make it really easy for you in the water because their behavior is repetitive. So if you have that really naughty elephant bull climbing on top of his mate and splashing in the water, and you missed it, you can be sure he does it again. So that's a cool part. It's also interesting to see that they have certain patterns that they always go about. It's always the same thing, and we can predict it and position ourselves and help our guest with it. First, they drink, which is great for some close-up shots from the side, catching the water dripping from their mouth. And then they go in the water to cool off and play. And here in Chobe, they even cross to the other side all the way in order to get some fresh grass. And after coming out, it's time for the mud bath and dusting and all those amazing photo opportunities that come along with it.
It's especially great when you have a clean, bright background, so that the mud stands out nicely. For the dust, I prefer when the scene is backlit by the sun. It makes the dust flimmer and look golden.
And it's incredible to think that an elephant nearly has 40,000 muscles only in their trunk, compared to us humans who have just over 600. They're so massive and huge and strong, but so gentle and quiet at the same time. Talking about trunks, they also make for great close-up shots, as well as their wide tusks, their wrinkled skin, their eyes, the lashes, and of course their tail and their feet. They just have so much texture.
That's so true. I think one often forgets to simply zoom in closer and capture those details and textures.
And what I also like to advise my guests to do is to look out for the sparkle, the shine in the eye, because the eye color of an elephant is that gorgeous reddish tone that you rarely see, and it's so beautiful.
Yeah, for sure worth the wait. It's such an intimate and emotional moment, and I found that my guests often get totally overwhelmed and don't even know where to look first, myself as well. When taking photographs of their tusks, I prefer a nice dark background, letting the white really stand out. And depending on the angle, the elephant itself could provide the shade, or alternatively another elephant from the herd, or perhaps just a shady bush.
I just simply love the versatility of elephants. And sometimes they look light grey, sometimes they look really dark and nearly black when they're wet, or even red depending on the colour of the soil. Low-key images really work great to isolate the details, or the elephant itself, but just as well do actually high-key images. And they are so easy to do. All you need is your subject in the shade or against a light source, and a bright uniform background such as water or sky or sand. Expose for the elephant, and then turn it into black and white afterwards, and you have a beautiful image.
And I love high key shots as they make really great contemporary modern prints too. I have lots of them in the house.
They're stunning.
Yeah. Overall, I think the key for a really good elephant photograph is just understanding the group dynamics of the herd.
Yeah, they're such a social animal.
Males, for instance, when greeting each other, will intertwine their trunks, a bit like hugging, creating a lovely, intimate portrait.
Yes, so true. And now that you remind me, similarly, elephant calves within a breeding herd receive comfort and protection and reassurance from their mothers and other family members even by wrapping their trunks around the calf's back, around its belly, or under its neck or over its shoulder to protect it.
And the other way around as well. The calf is looking for reassurance by leaning against its mother's leg or touching the heel of the mother's foot with its trunk while walking. By far the best though are the youngsters themselves, aren't they?
I love them. They're so cute.
Be it a calf that is still unsure of how its trunk works, or a group of them simply playing or chasing other animals. Such fun to watch and photograph.
My heart is melting every time I watch those little ones. And in all the hundreds of hours that the two of us have been watching elephants, I personally have never been bored because they're always busy doing something. They need to actually feed a full 16 hours a day to keep themselves going, so they're usually active. Unlike lions, for instance, that sleep and sleep and sleep, and when you're lucky, you get maybe 4 hours of activity out of them. While high key works really well during the harsh daylight, my favorite time to photograph them is actually in the late afternoons when the light becomes really soft and casts them in a great contrast with that color.
And combine this with a bit of clouds build up, and you just have the perfect backdrop for the world's largest land mammal. It's a great way to show an animal in its natural environment. I'm often amazed that I have to remind people to also zoom out and take in the scenery around the animal.
Yeah.
With long lenses, we're often prone to zoom in and just tightly frame our subject, but Africa has stunning sceneries, and you should really include that as well.
Talking from personal experience, I'm often just too lazy to swap my lens around, or it's a dusty environment, or you think you just simply don't have time for it at that moment. But you're absolutely right. Wider shots give the image so much more context of where it was taken, revealing the weather conditions and generally transforming the entire image into a different mood. We just need a really great backdrop to do so.
One thing that I found, one really needs to be careful to be in the right distance to the animal when shooting with a wide angle lens, because if you're too far away, it just doesn't give you that nice wow factor. So you need to play around and just figure out what distance works and what doesn't. And talking about wow factor, I think a silhouette of an elephant belongs into everyone's portfolio, don't you think?
It's such an iconic shot for Africa, really so beautiful, and all our guests wanted. But it's actually not an easy shot to get at all because the circumstances need to be absolutely right to get it. You know how it goes.
Yeah.
So often they are overlapping with one another when the sun is just perfectly behind them, and all you have is that big lump of black. Elephants have such a defined and recognizable shape, so it is really essential to put yourself as low as possible and have the elephant's profile clearly against the sky.
Yeah, I agree. It's really important that they're actually parallel to you, that they stand from the side so you can really get that nice profile, because otherwise you just have a blob and that is not so exciting.
Maybe with ears.
Usually when they walk, I try to watch out for the moment when there's separation between the legs and the trunk is in a position where it doesn't melt into the dark ground. And I have so many guests asking me how to expose for a silhouette. It is actually very easy. By exposing for the sky, the elephant and the foreground become completely black.
What I've found over the years is that focusing with silhouettes can actually be quite tricky because it's so black and the camera starts searching for it. But it doesn't have to be, because all you need to do is placing the focus on the edge where it meets the sky and the contrast is good, and you get your perfect focus and silhouette shot.
That's a great tip actually. I forgot about that one. But in the end, it's all about spending time with the animals and just looking out for a little bit different photographs that one can get.
Yeah. Hey guys, if this put you in the mood to come on safari with us and see with your own eyes, we would love to welcome you in the Chobe. Just check out the link below and we'll try and find you some elephants to photograph them yourself.
We hope you did enjoy this tutorial and it gave you some inspiration on how to tackle your wildlife photography. If you did, give us a thumbs up and leave us some comments in the section down below. See you next time. Bye bye.